Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Heel Brothers podcast. Alan, the Rapscallion, and my brother of 23 years is back with me today. He was not with me for the last live stream that we did, but we're happy to have him back. And we've got a lot of things to talk about today regarding UNC football. Now, really quickly, we're not going to do a full, complete rundown of the season and everything until after the bowl game. We're going to save all of our thoughts and lovely words for the team and everything until after the season is truly over. But we do want to cover transfer portal and the inactives and who's going to be playing in the bowl game as on December 27th, yeah, at 5:30 p.m. in Charlotte. The North Carolina Tar Heels take on the West Virginia Mountaineers. This is a matchup that we haven't saw since, I think, the fall or the winter time of 2008, I believe it was, back in Charlotte, as West Virginia did beat North Carolina 31-30 in that ball game. Will be the third time these two teams have met. They are 1-1 in their matchups against each other. So this is an opponent that we don't get to see very often. Looking forward to having them. I thought the ACC should have absolutely went after West Virginia a couple of seasons ago, but unfortunately they did not. It would have been a lot better than Cal or Stanford or SMU, even though SMU does look pretty solid right now. But let's talk some portal talk right now. North Carolina's had quite the number of people hit the portal. I'm going to try and hit a brief list here of all the portal entries. So, number one, I think it's Jalen Brooks, Kamari Morales, Kedrick Bingley-Jones, Elijah Green, Jefferson Boaz, the quarterback, Jalen Brooks, Ryan Coe, who was a recent addition of this year's Tar Heel team, also Cole Maynard, George Pettaway, unfortunate, Andre Green Jr., Tychon Chapman, otherwise known as Doc Chapman, Sebastian Cheeks, Deuce Caldwell, Tayon Holloway, which has been a big-time surprise there, and DJ Jones is the newest addition to that as of, I think, about 24 hours ago. Last night, I believe he hit the portal. Alan, let me just quickly ask you, first thoughts. You hear the names. Now, the first few names that I mentioned, we kind of expected. Guys like Jefferson Boaz, Jalen Brooks, things like that, things of the nature. You know, you expect guys like that, guys that haven't gotten playing time, that obviously want some playing time, and know that they're not going to really see the field too much in Carolina Blue. But then you get to a name like George Pettaway, Andre Green Jr., Doc Chapman. You get to those names, Sebastian Cheeks, Deuce Caldwell, who we thought were going to be the next guys to step up big time in the linebacker room, and they got jumped by Amari Campbell immediately this year. When you see these names, these big-time names that were big-time recruits come in, what does this say to you about the North Carolina program thus far in MAC 2.0?
I mean, kids just want to play, I guess. I mean, with the emergency of Amari Campbell, Sebastian Cheeks, you know, he got hurt early in his never quite came back. Deuce Caldwell, I don't know how he played. And we both know that running back room was crowded, extremely crowded. I mean, that's why DJ Jones went and played or wanted to play. You know, he just wanted to do something for the team. So he said, I'll switch over to defense, play that star position. Then we saw how that went towards the latter half of the season once Huzzy went down with his lower body injury. So the two linebackers don't really surprise me. I mean, Doc Chapman may be a little surprising. I mean, he did break some. He did have some fancy, flashy, flash in the pan plays there towards the latter half of the season. You don't know what he's going to do next season. But then, I mean, you still got Jordan Shipp coming in. Is he work? I mean,
Keenan
you
Jackson.
always, you know, do you want to compete? I think Doc Chapman just signed with Marshall. I believe. I believe he
Wow,
is
that was
under
quick.
scholarship with the Thundering Herd. So you go from UNC to Marshall. I'm sure maybe he just wants to go to Marshall to possibly beat up on lesser competition and maybe get it so the P5s can see what he's doing and maybe have a reemergence in a Power Five somewhere else. I don't know. Tayon Holloway, that's a
Surprising
head
name.
scratcher. Yeah, that's a head scratcher. I'm not sure. I think Amani Chapman, is that who took his place towards the latter end of the last year? This year,
Yeah, Amari Chapman
um,
got him.
I
Unfortunately,
think so. He had that first South Carolina game. They really tried to get Leggett on uh, Holloway, and I'm not saying he was in bad position. I'm not saying he was a great open field tackle, but Leggett was able to get some big catches on him. But then you saw that kind of all year. I mean, not to his credit, I don't think he blew any coverages, but for whatever reason, the last 10% of the coverage, he just couldn't seal the deal. Therefore, if it was that 50-50 go get 'em ball, that 50-50 go get 'em ball turned into like an 80-20 the offense's way. And I think Chapman was a little more physical in that last 10% and was able to break some of those passes up where Holloway wasn't. Now, you got what is it, Zion Ferguson coming in next year.
Zion Ferguson coming in, and then they're
Um,
potentially looking at Nealon Green coming out of
yeah,
Georgia. So I
yeah,
know they're in the
yeah.
running for them.
Well, so you have him. You also have Huzzy, who you expect to come back next year. Do you
Marcus
leave
Allen.
Huzzy in the? Well, yeah, Mark Allen. I mean, we're just concentrating on Holloway side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Um, so you got one side pretty much secured with Marcus Allen.
Right.
Because for whatever reason, for most of the year, they never threw Marcus Allen's way, and he's a sophomore. He was a sophomore this season, yeah, but he only saw the field his freshman year, like the last two games of the season. So you thought they would have picked on him a little more than they did, but for whatever reason, they really stayed away from Allen's side of the field. Um, but you still got Huzzy, you got Zion Ferguson. Then if you get that Nealon Green from Georgia, um, again, do you want to compete for a starting job? Do you not want to compete? Is that why some of these guys, these shocking, surprising leaves portal, or do they not want to compete for that, first string, the first on the depth chart, second on the depth chart? Do they not want to fight for that? Are they scared of competition? Because on the defense, if you're scared of competition, then you probably shouldn't be there anyway.
Right.
I'm not saying that's the case. I'm sure he's not scared of competition, but I'm just saying there has to be a reason why he's leaving. We're not in those meetings. Um, we're not in the in the family get-togethers where their relatives or whatever are chirping his ear. Hey man, if you could probably go here and play a lot more. If you
Yeah.
went here,
Yeah.
I'm sure that coach wouldn't bench you for somebody else. You always got those family, mama, quote unquote, mama knows best. You know what I'm saying? Not saying, you know what I mean. Somebody always knows better than the coach. That starts in little league and it continues, and probably until you break at the professional level. And then mama's probably in the stadium going, "Why don't you play my baby more?" You're still a professional, and maybe you come up, maybe you only get 30 snaps a game, but or 15 snaps a game. Well, why my baby not playing?
I'm sure
I
Mama's
mean,
always looking out for the boys.
so not saying just in general, somebody's always knows more than the coach. So yeah, I mean, it was surprising. Sebastian Cheeks, I think Tommy actually phrased it up. This is what happens when you don't play depth. Yeah, I mean, I could agree with that. But I mean,
I wholeheartedly agree.
you had Cedric Gray and you had Power Eccles, and Cedric Gray, you're not going to scrape him off the field with a shovel, if, if, even if you wanted to. Um, so I mean, you had Sebastian Cheeks, Deuce Caldwell. They was taking a back seat because I mean, Cedric Gray, he's probably a top 3 round draft pick. As far as the other guys, Ryan Code, the kicker, he kind of struggled in the beginning of the season, got hurt. Then
Yeah, can we do something really quickly? Can we give props to Noah Burnett? Noah
yeah,
Burnett
Noah
did
Burnett. I
not
mean, he
have
can't.
a great season last season, towards the back half of the season.
I
Missed
think he
some
missed
big
one
time
field goal
crucial kicks.
all season.
Yeah, and come back this year because they got Ryan Code to replace him, and he come
I mean, he
out.
practically won the Duke game.
Yeah, I
Let's,
mean,
let's
think
just be
about
honest.
that.
He won
What
the
did he
Duke game.
kick? 7 field goals of some sort of something
Six,
along the.
six, 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
6 or
mean,
7 to win that game.
the one. Let's be honest. The one that sent the game into overtime looked like it was outside right, and then it
Yeah,
magically, just had that nice right to left or right inside that right upright, and you're
right.
just like, ooh, thank you. Then you hit the one to again to send it to the next overtime.
Yeah,
So those are
gotta
two
give
pressure
credit to that
packed
guy.
field
I love
goals.
Burnett.
I mean, because last season, or now it's 2 seasons. Well, I guess you can still say last season. He missed that pressure kick against NC State. Where
NC
NC
State,
State
and
ended up.
also missed a chippy against Oregon to
Yeah,
seal
Oregon.
up that one too.
So
But
hats off to Noah Burnett. Hopefully next year, we got a solid kicker. Because kicking, field goals are always going to be important. You
yeah,
gotta you
man,
gotta have somebody that on the off chance that you gotta, you don't want to have to go for it 4th and 3 from your 35 because you don't have confidence in your kicker.
So let's look back at this linebacker room really quickly. I'm just going to start naming some names that are there that are going to be there so far. As we know of this coming season. Malachi Hamrick. That's a name that was lost week 1 against South Carolina. Before the game even happened, he was out for the whole season. Him and also DeAndre Boykins. Can't forget about that guy. That guy's coming back this coming season as well. Malachi Hamrick, J. Braun Harvey, freshman, Caleb LaValle. We've heard that name a lot. Cade Law, and Gibson McCray. Gibson McCray, CJ Murphy, linebacker Michael Short. That was a big name coming in this season, this off season. The DB room, Ty Adams. Heard that name a good bit. Caleb Cost. Heard that guy's name a good bit back there. And I don't think Stick has another year, but Trey Miller as well.
I think Stick Lane does have one more season, I believe.
Well, then Stick. I mean, Stick's a guy that he gets
But
the nickname Stick for a reason.
He played safety. He was the only safety that would really come down in the run and crack some people.
Yeah, and he would do that. Will Hardy's coming back next year, as far as we know. Legend Cavazos will be back again, which he got hurt, I think, week 1 and was out for about half the season.
Did he?
You saw him play last year. Yeah,
but
I don't
after
think
he got
ever
hurt, did he ever come back? I don't think so.
I don't think he ever saw the field.
Hey,
so there's some names there, along with some guys that are coming in this off season. Mm-hmm. So the linebacker room in particular is the one that everybody has questions about because that has been our weakest point. With depth there. I'm looking. I like the depth that's there personally, but I want to switch this into a conversation that needs to be addressed. Are some of these guys leaving, in particular guys like Deuce Caldwell and Sebastian Cheeks, are they leaving because of the lack of the use of depth for the Tar Heels that's been associated with MAC 2.0? Because Sebastian Cheeks and Deuce Caldwell have been on the team. They seem like they're pretty good guys based off of what we hear, but Power Eccles and Cedric Gray have played basically 2 times the amount of snaps even guys like Barrett Carter and Jeremiah Trotter did for Clemson. And they're the standard of the ACC. Those guys right there are first-round picks. Jeremiah Trotter will be. Barrett Carter could have been, but he decided to come back. So Do you think that could be attributing to some of these guys leaving?
I guess you got to ask Mac Brown. Yeah, I'm sure playing time does play a part in it. I'm not going to say it doesn't, because everybody that has D1 aspirations, or everybody that gets a scholarship to a Power Five foot school, at some point in time thinks they can do this professionally. So if you're, a freshman coming in, you're high, you feel like you're highly touted. You had offers from all these schools. You select one school, then you get there, but they got veterans ahead. I mean, you expect you're not going to come in and take the veteran's job unless the veteran is you're just better than the veteran, because they're weak at that position, which North Carolina's not, especially not at linebacker. Um, so Sebastian Cheeks couldn't come in and thought he was going to play over Power Eccles. He couldn't come in and think he was going to play over Cedric Gray. Cedric Gray, Cedric Gray didn't come in and think that he was going to play over Jeremiah Gemmel. And Jeremiah Gemmel was one of our best linebackers. Matter of fact, I remember when Gemmel set out the second half of the
Mayo Bowl.
Was it the Mayo Bowl? Yeah. And then they put in Cedric Gray, and I was like, why is Jeremiah Gemmel not in the game?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they got Cedric Gray in the game. What is this defense going to do?
Yeah.
But so it's a little bit of that. You don't know what you got until you know what you got.
Right.
But obviously Gemmel knew what they had. Obviously Cedric Gray knows what they have in Amari Chapman. Can't remember his name is.
Amari Campbell.
Amari Campbell. Obviously, Cedric Gray knows what they have in Amari Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear that. You haven't heard that many people speak on Sebastian Cheeks. You heard him speak on Sebastian Cheeks when he first got there, but right after he got there, he got hurt. He was sidelined with an injury for that whole entire season. Now he comes back this season. But then you have Amari Campbell. So obviously they think more highly of Amari Campbell than they do Sebastian Cheeks. So that automatically puts Cheeks pretty much number 2 in the depth chart at that position. And then, whoever they got coming in, then you're probably going to have to battle for the number 2 spot. Again, do you want to compete, or do you want to give it to you? I'm sure he doesn't mind competing, but at the same time, do you want to compete, or do you feel like that position should be yours just because you're next in line?
I guess the biggest problem I have, and the question is, I think both sides can be true in the fact that, okay, your best guys are your best guys. That's just a given. But maybe those guys don't need to be out there all the time. Maybe
I don't think they need to be out there all the time.
Right. And maybe you should, sprinkle in some, I'll give an instance. Clemson. We were in attendance for Clemson. Early in the game, I noticed Amari Campbell come out there for a couple of snaps. Early.
Never saw the game. Yeah, 3 snaps. 3.
Right. I saw him out there, and I looked at our buddy Wes, and I looked at him and said, I can't believe, Amari Campbell's out here. We go. And he was making some good tackles.
He made a solid tackle.
Yeah.
Never saw the field again.
And he never saw the field again. I'm like, why? Why not? Because I think one of the biggest things that happened towards the back half of the season was people just got tired. And I don't understand why. So
I don't think that affected Cedric Gray. You look at Cedric Gray; he was running all over the field all the time.
Well, some people are like that. Cedric Gray, Kamen Rucker; those two guys are just beasts.
Well, no, I do think it affected Kamen Rucker, because there was some plays, instead of Kamen Rucker coming and attacking the ball carrier, he let the ball carrier come to him.
Right.
Instead of him attacking the ball, like say Kamen Rucker's on his side of the line of scrimmage, the guy is on his line of scrimmage. Instead of meeting at the line of scrimmage, he let the ball carrier meet him on his side of the line of scrimmage. And because I noticed that on one play, I was like, he saw it. He saw it. Why didn't he go downhill after? But he kind of just let the ball carrier come to him and wrap him up. That's a product of being tired.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't see from Cedric Gray very often. Cedric Gray was always downhill. But I mean, when a guy's tired, a guy's tired.
Right.
You know, you're on the field for so many plays. You can only give so much. Is that Cameron Rucker's fault? No. Cameron Rucker gave everything he could in every game that he played.
Yeah.
And
so you
that's no fault of his own.
You're glad that your guys are like, nah, keep me in. That's great. But at some point in time, a coach has got to coach and say, hey, get your butt over here for a minute. Get your butt over here. You need to sit down for a few minutes. You just need to do that and let this young guy go play. Because and now we're going to switch over to the bowl game. North Carolina is now in a situation where it has to rely on its very young core, a core that mostly has not saw the field very much at all. And they're going out there for – a lot of them are going out there for the first time. They're like, all right, and this is a tough West Virginia team. So let's switch over to that because we have players that will not be participating in this year's bowl game. I'll quickly list them out. We're going to list out the big names first. First off, Tez Walker. Now, there's a lot of controversy to that.
That's the first name you decided to choose?
Yes.
Out of all the names?
Yep.
Out of all the names.
I popped up my list and Tez Walker was number one. So I said, bump it, Tez Walker.
Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I said we're going to hit the big names first.
Dude, but that's not the big one.
Tez Walker will not be playing, even though he's getting a lot of backlash for that. And that's neither here nor there. We'll probably have a discussion about that at some other point in time. Cedric Gray will not be playing. Drake May will not be playing.
Third on the list. Drake May is third on the list of people not playing.
Well, you
Drake May should have been number one on the list of people not playing.
I was gonna try and keep him to last, but I completely forgot. But Corey Gaynor also is not playing. I completely forgot about that. All of those guys have officially declared for the NFL draft. We and you are.
Miles Murphy declared for the NFL draft,
but he's also playing. He's playing in the bowl game.
Is he playing in the bowl game?
He is playing in the bowl game because he said he's dedicating this last one to Mitch Mason. Yeah, he's dedicated the last one. Yeah. So all of those guys have declared for the draft and are not playing. I think we need to do our own separate thing about Drake May at another point in time because Drake May just deserves that. Yeah, I think he deserves his own list.
Oh, yeah.
But guys that we know of currently right now that are not playing and are still on the team for next season, as we know of, tight end, John Copenhaver, lower body injury. Will Hardy, upper body injury. Elijah Huzzy, who is still not back. Bryson Nesbitt, who's also down with a lower body injury, and also Zach Rice. Those are some big names I just listed right there that are not going to be playing in this bowl game. Big game. I mean, right there goes your two star tight ends. Kamar Morales hit the portal. He's gone now. He's in Boston College now, and we will, get to see him next year. Congratulations. Hope he does well out there. Hope he gets to play a lot of snaps up there. But those are some big names. And quite frankly, I think the one that I'm kind of the most saddened about is Zach Rice because we're losing a lot of offensive linemen next year. A lot of guys are leaving. It's time for him to step up. Big time 5-star, right? Him and Travis Shaw both came in together. Travis Shaw saw the field. Zach Rice ain't been ready. And it's time for him to get ready. So with that being said, let's go to some of the young guys that's going to be playing this year. In the bowl game. Number one, big time, your quarterback, we expect to be Connor Harrell. Now, I've heard there been a talk of Connor Harrell, Tad Hudson. We'll see how that goes. I believe we all can pretty much pencil in Connor Harrell at that position, considering he's already gotten, all the snaps that it hasn't been Drake out there. It's been Connor. Connor, personally, I think should have had more snaps this year. In a couple of blowout games that we've had. Against Campbell and Syracuse. But you hope to see a guy like Chris Culliver come out and play. Looking forward to see what he can do. I'm really excited to see 3 running around the field. I just am. I got high hopes for that kid. I even tweeted at him the other day and said, dude, I got a good feeling about you. I think you're going to be really good for us. I think you're going to be great." And he liked it and was happy with it. Hey, I'm cool. Which I'm very excited to see that outside of obviously Andre Green Jr. and Doc Chapman, that our wide receivers seem to be really hell bent. Like, no, we're staying here. Like everybody, like, stay, come on, stay. But let's look at the bowl game, man. Right now, currently, North Carolina is. They were favored. This is before the May announcement and Cedric Gray announcement. They are no longer favored. West Virginia opens up as a 5.5 favorite, and ESPN's predictor actually still has a 60% chance of a North Carolina victory. To that, you say what?
I don't care what ESPN says. The players will decide what the. You don't know. I mean, I'm sure West Virginia has a ton of people in the portal. I'm sure West Virginia is like, oh, woe is me. You know, we lost such and such. Hey, we're keeping such and such. It's 90% of the schools are in the same position. North Carolina's in. Oklahoma lost their quarterback. He's going
Ohio
to Oregon.
State.
Duke lost their quarterback. He's going to Notre Dame.
And their
Ohio
coach.
State. Ohio State lost some people. I think Florida lost one of their. I think Florida lost a quarterback. South Carolina's lost a quarterback. Everybody's lost everybody. This is just the nature. Everybody that is not unhappy or thinks the grass is greener somewhere else. Well, guess what? They can spread their wings and fly to that greener pasture, and that's just how it is. These bowl games, unless you're in the top four in the college playoff or maybe the New Year's Six bowls, these bowls don't mean jack diddly squat to most of the teams. I'm not saying that the programs don't want to be there, but obviously, if you have pro aspirations, then you're not going to play in them. It doesn't. I mean, I even think Georgia and FSU have people sitting out because they're not playing in the game. So,
yeah.
These bowl games, I'm not even sure. I guess we'll see what happens in these bowl games. Like I told you, I had planned on going to the bowl game because it was Drake May's last game. But once Drake May announced that he was not longer playing, I said I am no longer going. I will watch it at home. I can watch Connor Harrell. I can watch Campbell. I can watch Chris Culliver. I can watch all of them from the couch. That doesn't mean I'm not rooting for them. That doesn't mean I don't want the Tar Heels to win. It's just that I'm not. It's on a Wednesday at 5:30. That would I'd have to call out of work. I'd have to lose money to go sit in the stands and watch a football game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hope that place is filled to the brim. I'm pretty sure they've already cut the upper deck off, so they don't expect that many people to be there anyway.
Well, they just opened up 3 sections of the upper deck on the West Virginia side, expecting a big crowd out of West Virginia.
So see, West Virginia fans, they're just crawling out of the mountains. So whatever.
Just like them App State man, just coming down all the hillbillies down there.
So yeah, but no. The young kids are going to play. This will be a look at what a potential North Carolina team will look like next year. You want the team to win to finish 9-5. Is that it? 9-5.
9-4.
9-4. Not 8. You don't want them to finish 8-5. Because that would really suck. Especially when you started 6-0. But I guess that's for another podcast.
Yeah, we'll save that till after the bowl game when we know if somebody's 9-5 or 9-4 or 8-5.
But I say all that to say this: the young kids want to play when now they get a chance to play.
Yeah, honestly, this is a really good test for North Carolina because West Virginia is set up perfectly to expose North Carolina's weaknesses, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're a team that's going to, just like the last 3 games have been for you, going to line up and run it down your throat. Over 3 guys over 750 yards, or 700 yards, put it that way. Two over 750, 1 over 700 rushing. 2 running backs and a quarterback rushing for that much. So these guys are going to line up and they're going to run it down your throat. They're one of the best running attacks in the nation. The passing attack isn't that great. They're ranked 98th last I looked. I think it was 98th, 99th. So they're not the best passing in the world, but I think we're going to see something very similar like we saw against Duke, more or less. Play action, going to try and run it downhill at you. And
I got good news.
what's that?
Fatigue shouldn't be a factor.
Yeah, there we go. So fatigue should not be a factor.
I mean, you're going to have fresh legs in your linebacker. All your defensive linemen, Kamen Rucker, his gas tank's going to be overflowing. Your cornerbacks, they're going to be, full of gas. So fatigue shouldn't be a factor. So if they want to run, then we'll just put Marcus Allen on an island, put Amari Chapman on an island, put 7 in the box and say let's dance. That's all I know. If they want to run, stack the box, and they bust one loose, But
so
stack the box.
So far, for basically what I saw, everybody on defense except for Tayon Holloway and Cedric Gray will be in this bowl game. Now, Cedric Gray's a big loss. Tayon obviously had been passed, it seemed, by Armani Chapman this year. But so your defense should hold true to normal. Now, personally, I think we'll be fine in the linebacker situation because I like Amari Campbell a lot. Dude looks really good.
I think Amari Campbell will pick up where Cedric Gray left off.
Oh, I think Amari Campbell's the next. He's the next dude. He's the next.
Maybe not in instincts yet, but in raw ability to know the plays, know where to line your people up. I think he's going to pick up right where Cedric Gray left off.
Yeah, I still think him and Power are going to make a good duo. I believe, personally, in my opinion. And we still got some good linebackers coming back, and next year coming in the recruiting class. So I think the linebacker room is going to be just fine. I like the Caleb Valley kid. That you got Evan Bennett coming in next year.
And maybe we'll turn the page on this whole, linebackers playing 80 snaps a game. Cedric Gray's, he's out, he's gone. So maybe now we can start. The linebacker spot can be a rotation from now.
Yeah, and
got
honestly,
this one dominant guy.
Yeah, it's that, and also get some defensive linemen some chance in there, man. You gotta get them somewhere. It's got to happen sometime. Got to happen.
Well, then Bingley Jones is gone. I thought that's maybe at times he looked better than Miles Murphy at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, that's another guy you want to have. But yeah. I saw when Miles Murphy said that he was going to the draft, I saw where Travis Shaw tweeted the big eyes emoji. So, maybe he's looking for, because since, Bingley's gone, Miles is leaving, that's looking like Travis Shaw's spot. So, now that burden rests on his shoulders. So, maybe, we're going to have a big year. He's going to have to step up in a big way next season.
Yeah.
He tweeted the big eyes emoji, so we'll see what kind of step he takes.
Yeah, and he needs to be one to take a big step. That was a lot of criticism, I think rightfully so, towards him this season, all throughout the season. So, we'll see how he goes. But honestly, dude, I'm looking forward to the West Virginia game. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be a fun atmosphere. Hopefully, it's a beautiful day. I still plan on going. I don't know. I'm still planning on it. Don't know if I am or not. Just kind of back and forth. It's Christmas time, trying to buy gifts for people and things. Sometimes you just got to take a game off. So I don't know. I'm still planning on going, but I'm not really sure yet. It is just 45 minutes up the road. So I mean, still, not nothing crazy or out of reach or anything like that. Not like it's hours away or anything. So even if it's a last minute decision, still 45 minutes up the road. So. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here today. We have a lot of more conversations to be had about football. Also, basketball. Got to get in there a little bit as North Carolina's kind of on a small break right now in between them just facing UConn in Madison Square Garden and getting ready to take on number, I think it's 14 now, Kentucky. on Saturday. Yeah, that's going to be a good game. That's in, where is that at? That's in
Atlanta.
CBS Classic, Atlanta. That's it.
Atlanta.
CBS Sports Classic, I believe it is. So a lot more conversations to be had. What do you think about the bowl game this coming? 2 weeks from, we're recording this on a Tuesday, so 2 weeks from tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 13th. So yeah, 2 weeks from there. And what do you think about the portal? Are we losing some guys we need to see if we can't get back? Is there something going up or something going on in inside of the Keenan Football Center out there in Chapel Hill? What's going on? Is the world falling? You ask many fans around there, the state of affairs is crumbling around us. But anyway, let us know down below. We want to talk with you down there, keep the conversation going. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And for Alan, Nathan, go Heels.
Yes.
You don't want love.
I'm good, I was need, I was dying, I was need, I was